Hey y'all, welcome back to Laugh, Cry, Learn, and Blush, where we believe that there are books out there just waiting to make you laugh, make you cry, make you learn, and even make you blush. And we believe that the best books do all four. Today, we're going to be talking about romance, but not just romance, because we all like a good love story, but we also like for there to be a little something extra. Life gets heavy and complicated, and sometimes we want our books to be a little heavy and a little complicated too. So today we're going to talk about 3 books where all of the main characters are definitely jonesing for a little bit of love, but also have some bigger, better stuff going on in their lives than just going after a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Our books for today are All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir, Some Mistakes Were Made by Kristen Dwyer, and Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. Of course, like usual, about all these books, I'm gonna tell you why you're gonna enjoy them because of what's gonna make you laugh, which we'll measure on the Snicker scale, where books can earn between 0 and 5 ha-has based on how funny they are. What's gonna make you cry on our sob scale, where books earn from 0 to 5 teardrops based on how sad they are. And what you're gonna learn on our SMART scale, earning 0 to 5 light bulbs based on how much they're gonna make you think. Last but not least, how red your cheeks are gonna get if you read these books on the train, where books can earn between 0 and 5 smooches on our smooch scale based on how hot they are. So let's get started with All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This is a book about Sal and Noor, who are both going through a pretty tough time. These are 2 outcasts. They have been in love for a while, but that's kind of taken a back seat because they are both walking a tightrope over a minefield of traumas that are trying to disrupt their lives and steal their futures from them. They're trying to find their way back to each other after a fight they've had a long time ago. This book is about pretty much everything that you could imagine going wrong for kids. They're dealing with extreme poverty, drugs, abuse, neglect, death, bullying, immigration issues, work issues. They've just got a lot going on. But it's a beautiful, beautiful story, and it's worth the read. So let's talk about it. There's not much in this book that's going to make you laugh. There's one part at the very end where you might get a little chuckle out of a really sweet bit of revenge that happens to one of the many bad guys in this story. She totally gets what's coming to her. Still, the book is not funny. You're not going to crack a smile very much, so we get 0 out of 5 ha-has on the Snicker scale. What's going to make you cry? Probably everything. You're probably going to cry every single time you pick up this book, but it's a good kind of cry. The thing that's going to make you cry the most is what makes this book so special, because both Sal and Noor have really unique voices, and they talk about their rage, their fear, their regret, their hope, their grief, all of it in such beautiful and poignant language that you can't help but feel it in your own heart. Here's an example. When one of their parents dies, instead of talking about his grief in phrases and terms that we're used to, here's how the character describes it. He says, "I don't know if I believe in hell, but if it exists and has a sound, it would be the strangled howl of your father finally realizing that the love of his life is being lowered into the ground." So it's pretty gut-punching. 5 out of 5 on the sob scale, and honestly, it probably warrants a few more. What's going to make you learn? There's a lot of stuff in this book that you're going to learn. I'm going to tell you one right now that's going to throw you a curveball, though. You're going to learn that you want to try Pakistani food. In the midst of all of the torment and trauma of the story, there's a pretty cool cultural tale about Pakistan in here. And a big part of that tale is how important food is to that culture and to bringing people together in general. So when you're not crying, you might actually find your mouth watering over some of the tantalizing descriptions of Pakistani food here. On top of that, you're obviously going to learn a lot about a lot of different cultural issues. One of the things that I think will really hit home for a lot of teens is how different everybody's lives are. how different everybody's hurts are, how different everybody's worlds are. You're gonna learn a lot, but it's gonna be worth it. You will be a better person after you read this book. 5 out of 5 light bulbs for sure. How red your cheeks are gonna get if you read it on the train, not very red. Your cheeks might only be red from the crying, actually. This book is totally chaste. There is a sweet love story, and you will root for the love story, but the sensuality part of it is not part of the story. Totally fine to read on the train. Okay, next. Some Mistakes Were Made by Kristen Dwyer. The love story in this one is a pretty basic will they, won't they, slow burn story about 2 high school graduates, Ellis and Easton, who are trying to make the best friends turned enemies turned lovers story arc happen for them. It's deeper than that though, because what you also get is a great story about a young girl, Ellis, who has to make sense out of living in 2 totally disparate worlds. She has to find meaning in her own dysfunctional childhood and messed up family, plus also try to peacefully coexist with and inside of this other world and family that she's trying very hard to build and protect for herself. It's a great story. You're gonna really like the romance aspect of first love, lost, and trying to re-find it, but you're also gonna think a lot about other issues. So, what's gonna make you laugh? You're gonna laugh at Tyler, who is the big brother that we all wish we had, and he has an uncanny ability to add levity and a little humor to situations that are otherwise pretty fraught and pretty emotionally fraught. You're not gonna laugh much though. This one only gets 1 out of 5 ha-has on the Snicker scale, but the humor is there. What's gonna make you cry? You're also gonna cry a lot, 4 out of 5 teardrops. You're gonna cry over first love lost because of course that's a great story. But you're also gonna cry even more for Ellis because of all of the people who she should be able to count on, but who continually let her down. You're gonna cry over the very real notion in life that sometimes people can genuinely love you, but also continue to choose themselves over you at every opportunity over and over and over again, which in the end means that sometimes some love just isn't worth very much. 4 to 5 tears, so keep the Kleenex at hand. What you're gonna learn? This is more of a feelings book than a learning book, so we only get 2 out of 5 light bulbs, but you are gonna think a little. You're gonna think about what family means, the family you have versus the family you make, and you're also gonna think about how much of ourselves, how much of who we are is self-made versus how much of ourselves is a product of all of the love and support that we've been able to gather from the people around us. It's gonna make you think a little. How red your cheeks are gonna get? Oh boy. There are a couple of really steamy scenes in this one that you do not want to read on the train. This gets 4 out of 5 smooches on the smooch scale. The sexy stuff is definitely in there and it's definitely hot. Enjoy. Last but not least, let's talk about Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulet. I can't tell you much about Donis and Jamie, the main characters, because this one has a lot of twists and turns in it and I don't want to give anything away. But what I can tell you is that Donis and Jamie are 2 young people living in a Native American reservation that is dealing with a really serious drug problem. And they're playing a lot of hockey. They're a really fun couple to root for and you'll be cheering them on. But coupling up with Jamie is pretty low on Donis's priority list because she has to worry about solving a few murders, protecting the land and the heritage of a Native American community that she identifies as part of, but isn't able to actually join because of political reasons. And she has to try to keep herself and her boyfriend alive through all of that. So she has a lot more going on than just the romance. What's gonna make you laugh? You're gonna laugh with Donis because she is a fiery, strong, confident character. She's trying to solve all these mysteries that might actually rip her entire community apart, but she manages to keep a sense of humor about it. In fact, the whole time she calls herself Agent Secret Squirrel, And all of the life lessons that she's learning while she's doing her sleuthing, she boils down into what she calls secret squirrel lessons, which are often kind of humorous. For example, secret squirrel lesson number 3 is, I am my brother's keeper of trash. It's funny, you might get a chuckle. 2 out of 5 ha-has on the Snicker scale. What's gonna make you cry? You're also gonna cry for Adonis. She experiences some pretty tough stuff, some loss, some trauma. You're gonna hurt for her, but you're also gonna cry what I like to call wonder tears, because some of the depictions of Native American culture in this book are so touching and so poignant, so beautifully written, that you almost feel like you believe those things and experience those traditions and cultures too. And tapping into another culture to that extent can be really emotionally powerful. This one gets 2 out of 5 teardrops. What you're gonna learn, it's the same thing. The author of this book, Angeline Boulay, is actually a member of the Ojibwe tribe herself, and she has done just an amazing job of writing about Native American life in this book. The book is not about Native American culture, but Native American life and culture form an amazingly vivid backdrop for every part of this story that is so rich and so beautiful and personal. You really can't help but understand how Native American people can love their culture as much as they do. The book doesn't feel like a lesson, but you're definitely going to learn a lot while you read it. 4 out of 5 light bulbs. How red your cheeks are gonna get, they might get a little red. There are a couple steamy scenes in this book. Plus we have a strong, bold character who's really confident about her sexuality, and a lot of sexual tension that kind of runs throughout the book from the beginning to the end. So all of that combined earns us 2 out of 5 smooches on the smooch scale, but it's mostly safe for the train. Okay, so to recap, we have 3 books, all of which have some romance, but they're not just romance. They've all got a little extra. All My Rage from Sabaa Tahir. Some Mistakes Were Made by Kristen Dwyer. And Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulay. Read all these books. You're gonna enjoy them. They all 3 have epic endings. Of course, I'm not gonna give anything away from you, but it's not saying too much to tell you that in all 3 books, somebody ends up spending some time in jail. At least one character comes really close to the brink of death, if not actually dying. And more importantly, all 3 of these books are filled with main characters who are changing their worlds in really powerful ways. So pick up the books because you want a romance, pick it up because you want a little extra, and pick it up because you want to laugh, to cry, to learn, and to blush a little. Thanks a lot. See you next time.